in order for something to serve as a digital town square, it must, you know,
I don't think people realize this, but in 100 years, 200 years, people are going to look back and see the radical leftists of today as on the wrong side of history. Narcissistically silencing people and then justifying it with claims of compassion and empathy? Are you kidding me? That's like one of the worst. That's one of the worst ways of attempting to substantiate a tyranny that I've ever heard. Because you're calling yourself good people while you do extremely immoral things, like censoring people, like demonizing others because they disagree with you. Cancel culture, identity politics, list goes on.
From all political persuasions, provided it's legal. So, close to half the country voted for Trump. I wasn't one of them. I voted for Biden. But nonetheless, free speech is meaningless unless you allow people you don't like to say things.
Elon Musk isn't a part of their cult and clan because he's willing to disagree and speak out against the hive mind. So to them, he's a bad person. That's why they demonize him. That's why they try to demonize him here. With this narcissistic, petty, soy boy tone of an interviewer.
Otherwise, it's irrelevant. And if at the point at which you lose free speech, it doesn't come back.
I think the issue some people have is that
the issue some people have with freedom is that people can say things that I and they disagree with, which is just unacceptable.
Were brought back. I mean, some people were brought back who...
You're willing to give voices to people that I say are bad people? What?
Were previously banned for spreading things like QAnon and conspiracies. You have people like Andrew Tate who were brought back, who were previously...
Oh my God, they said Andrew Tate's name. Dude, see, I told you, the radical left and these incensed feminists are so triggered when you can disagree with them because it reveals their ideas as meritless. Their opinions have no value. The only way they can get people to agree with them is by saying you're a bad person unless you agree with us. Because everything Andrew Tate preaches for and says is true. It's in alignment with reality. He talks about everything that men are not willing to say in today's day and age. Well, at least most men. I'm willing to talk about the truths that he's talked about, but yeah, they are triggered by people who are willing to disagree with him, and it's hilarious.
Banned for things like hate speech. Do you think you prioritize...
Andrew Tate is banned for hate speech. Oh my God, dude. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Go to the gym. Better yourself. Men who become successful can have multiple women as girlfriends. Men and women are different. Men should take care of women. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. Oh, he's so hateful. Oh my God. Oh, right, because he's so popular and getting so much attention from men, because he's waking up men and making them see their own value, and all that. We're going to imprison him with false accusations. Oh wait, it was exposed through phone calls and leaks that the women lied and conspired together. Oh, that doesn't matter because we disagree with him. Dude, subscribe to the fucking channel and watch the other videos that I made about these demonic. These demonic radical feminists that demonize Andrew Tate and wish that he was still in jail even though there's no evidence he's in jail. Think about that. They want him dead or in prison, and they want you dead or in prison if you disagree with them because they think they're so much better than you as a result of adhering to the radical left. These people are dangerous because this has happened before in history. So we need to recognize what's going on here. And it's not enough for 200 years in the future for us to look back and realize that the radical left wing were tyrants. We have to do it now. We have to call them out now.
Freedom of speech over
people disagreeing with me. Is that really freedom of speech? I mean,
misinformation and hate speech.
Well, who's to say that something is misinformation? Who's the arbiter of that? Is it the BBC?
That's a great question.
You literally asking me.
Yeah.
Well, no, you are the arbiter on Twitter because you own Twitter.
No, he's not. No. They're the arbiter is no arbiter because that's a free speech policy.
I'm saying, who is to say that one person's misinformation is another person's information? At the point at which
these people are tyrants. It's exposed. Accept it. The radical left wing are tyrants who believe that you should be silenced if you disagree with them. They will call you a bad person. They will call you a predator. They will call you. They will call you any number of names. And by the way, I'm using the word predator because it is the opposite of an infant, and they infantilize those who are a part of their group because an infant needs unconditional compassion and care and attention, and anything that threatens that unconditional care, compassion, and attention is automatically the archetypal predator. So that's how they construe the dynamics between their, you could think of it, as politics, I suppose, their politics and those who disagree with, the presuppositions of their politics. And that's the reason they're so narcissistic.
But there is, this is misinformation. Like, who is going
you
to
accept
decide
that misinformation can be dangerous, that it can cause real-world harms, that it can potentially cause...
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is that the BBC itself has, at times, published things that are false. Do you agree that that has occurred?
I'm quite sure the BBC have said things before that turn out to not be true in its, whatever it is, 100-year history, I'm quite sure.
Yes. Even if you aspire to be accurate, there are times where you will not be.
Right,
and I think in the grand scheme of things, the BBC does aspire to be accurate.
But you accept there has to be a line in terms of hate speech. I mean, you're not looking at total 100% unrestricted speech.
I generally am of the opinion that if the people of a given country are against a certain type of speech, they should talk to their elected representatives and pass a law to prevent it. So, for example, you cannot advocate murdering someone. That's illegal in the United States, everywhere really, I suspect. So there are limits to speech.
I guess taking your argument to a logical conclusion then, do you accept that there's more misinformation on the platform if it's not being policed in the same way?
I actually think there's less.
Misinformation is a left-wing buzzword that is just a signal for anything I disagree with. Anything that I disagree with and would lead to, if analyzed coherently, the disintegration of my ideology. That's all disinformation means at this point.
We've eliminated
very rarely do I see actual disinformation. Like, very rarely do I see people like talking about flat Earth or, stuff like that. Like, very, very rarely. Most of the time, it's just feminist triggered that people are willing to have discussions that they disagree with. Sorry, men and women are physically different. They're not the same psychologically or physically. And that can, even me saying that to some people is hate speech, even though it's biologically fucking true.